Hello and welcome to Hosting with Confidence. My name's Yvette and I'm from the Believe and Achieve collection. I have been planning and hosting events now for a number of years. I have done different events ranging from wellbeing events, networking events, corporate events, baby showers, birthdays, and everything kind of in between. And I love events. I think it's a great way to bring people together, like-minded people together, to either learn, celebrate, network, whatever it is, bringing people together. And I just love it. What I do notice is when I go to other events that sometimes the hosts can let the event down. So I thought I'd put a bit of a masterclass together to help you. And I'm going to say something very controversial from the very beginning of this. Hosting is not for everybody. You have to be quite confident and you have to put yourself out there. If you have created an event or you're planning an event and you don't feel like you're the person that can stand in front of people and either talk, whether it be online or in person, greet people at the door, that's all right. It really is all right. But find somebody that can do that for you. And I think that's probably one of my biggest tips with confidence, with hosting, is don't worry. If you can't do it, find someone that can, and that's okay. Just make sure that the person that does it for you understands your goals, your objectives, and what you're trying to get out of the day. So putting that aside, let's crack on. So hosting with confidence. Are you ready to shine and be the star of any event? Whether it's in person or it's online, you do need to engage with your audience. And there are slightly different ways to do it, but we'll go through them. So let's get into this, shall we? So hosting an event is really nerve-wracking, and even now I get nervous. I get that anxiety. Oh my gosh, have I prepared well enough? Have I sold enough tickets? Are people going to turn up? Is everything I've planned put into place? Putting on an event is nerve-wracking, and let me tell you, you are no different to anyone else. Even now, after all the events I've put on, whether they've been online or in person, I still get nervous. I still get anxious. I still wake up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my goodness, have I put everything in place? Have I sold enough tickets? Have I covered my costs? Have I got everything I need? Is everyone going to turn up that needs to turn up? It's completely normal because you're putting yourself out there. Let's not kind of ride over this. You know, you're putting yourself out there and you're putting your head above the parapet and saying, I'm doing this thing. Come to me. So it is nerve-wracking. So feeling nervous is part of it. So please, please, please don't ever feel like you're weird for feeling nervous. It's completely normal. I do try and reframe things. I try and think about how excited I am once the event kicks off and everything goes to plan, because 9 times out of 10 it does go to plan. And I try and get excited and put myself in the shoes of people that have either paid money or bought tickets or whatever you're doing, how they feel because they're attending your event. They've chosen to come. So, you know, you should be proud of yourself. I always take time on the morning of any event to just take some calm time, whether that's going off and meditating, whether that's writing in a journal, but just to center myself and be ready. So, you know, do some deep breathing, do some meditation, just take some time away, because there is a real panic otherwise. You're thinking, oh my gosh, I've got all these things to do in the morning, and you rush. And actually what you're doing is adding to your nerves. So make sure you get up an extra 10 minutes early just to give yourself time to center. Really prepare. Preparation is the key, as it is with everything. The more you plan, the more confident you'll feel. And I've got an ebook that will help you with that if you want to take that on. But preparation is absolutely key. Knowing all the details, knowing everything's in place so you can just relax. And then on the day is move a bit, shake off some nerves, go and do a quick walk or a power pose, whatever it is that suits you. But do something that's going to kind of help with those nerves. And actually, probably the only person that knows what's going to help with your nerves is you. And I've just put a confidence hack in here. Remind yourself your audience wants you to succeed. Those people that have paid to come along, those people that have bought tickets, they've come because they believe in you. So you should start believing in yourself. Speak like a pro, engage in a natural communication. I think this is one of the main things, is your tone really matters. Vary your pitch, your pace, and to keep the energy high. If you are talking, whether it's in person or you're hosting an online event, good eye contact. And I'm saying that and I'm very aware that I'm not doing good eye contact myself actually, but it makes you more engaging. One of the main things, and I'll come on to this a bit more later, is if you are hosting an in-person event and you are the host and it's your event, you need to make sure that you are doing everything you can to make your guests feel welcome. And that is being at the door, welcoming them as they arrive. But I will talk about that in a bit more detail. Avoid filler words. So if you are doing a event like this where you're talking directly to a camera or you're in person, try and avoid the ums and the ahs. It's really difficult and it takes time to do, but do if you can. If you are standing up in front of a group of people and talking, practice. Again, it's going back to that planning, is practice as much as you can. And try to either pause or be very aware of what you're saying so you can cut the ums and the ahs out. Smile when you talk. It changes everything. It really does. And also it shows that you're enjoying yourself. And ultimately, if you are hosting an event, whether it's a business event, a personal event, whatever it is, you should be enjoying yourself. There's nothing to say that these things have to be serious all the time. And absolutely, if you're putting this on and you put your heart and soul into it, you should be enjoying it. So a smile goes a long, long way. Create a welcoming atmosphere when you're creating your event, whether it be in person or online. Try and be as welcoming as you can. There's lots of things that you can do. So a warm greeting, I've talked about this already. Your first impressions really count. Set the tone from the very start. Greet each guest individually if you can. So if you're online, obviously depending on how many people there are and you're expecting at your event, but if you can, greet them individually. If it's an in-person, stand at the door and greet them. If it's online, as you see people pop up on your Zoom or whatever it is you're talking on, try and greet them individually. Share the details of the event, what to expect. So if you are doing an online event, you can say this is expected to be however many minutes. We'll have a break at this time. Obviously, if it's a longer event, this is when we're due to finish. If you're recording the event, let people know because they may want to turn their cameras off or change the names or whatever. It's up to them, obviously. But let people know what to expect. If it's an in-person event, you need to be a bit more specific. Let them know about the details of the venue. Where do they get a drink? How do they get a drink? Is there food available? Most importantly, the toilets. Let them know where the toilets is. And also guide them to wherever it is they need to go. And depending on the size of the event, of course, you might need to point out things like fire escapes and such like. But you'll obviously know that depending on the event that you're doing. Ambience, create ambience. This is probably more for an in-person event, but if you've got an event where people are coming on, say for example a networking event where you've got people joining, you might have a 20-minute period where people are joining. Walking into a cold, empty, soundless room is quite intimidating and actually is not setting the tone. So if you can, put some music on, maybe have some tea and coffee in the background and introduce people. And I think this is one of the things that I am very adamant about, especially if it's a smaller event. So maybe if you've got maybe less than 20 people, is make a point of, as a good host, welcoming those people at the door, taking them in and then introducing them to somebody. So take them straight in. Oh, here's such and such. They're from this business or whatever it is. So you can actually really guide them. And also that releases you then. So you've done a great hosting. You've been really friendly. You've introduced them to someone straight away so they're not stood on their own. And then you can get back to your event hosting duties. Ask an easy question to break the ice. I'm not talking about icebreakers here. Not at all. It's just to get on a more of a personal level with people as they come in, especially if they're coming in an in-person event. When they arrive, you might want to say to them, oh, did you find us easy? Have you had a long journey here? How's your morning been? Just something just to break the ice. So something really easy, but general, short chit chat. But it's always nice. It makes someone feel welcome straight away and seen. I think that's a nice thing to see. You never want to walk into an event and see all these people talking and you're just walking on your own. There's nothing worse, is there? So make that person feel seen and feel welcome. Introduce them to other people. And then you can crack on with your event. And your energy is their energy. So if you're at the door greeting people with a big smile on your face and making them feel welcome, that is just going to spread. So you're setting the tone from the outset, because I don't really know any kind of event where you wouldn't want good vibes, I guess, something like this. So, you know, if you're talking business events, you want good vibes. If you're talking personal events like birthdays and things like that, of course, good vibes are the right way to go. So I talk about this a lot in my ebook, because the unexpected does happen, and it's about how to stay cool under those things. When you're hosting an event, depending on the size of the event and depending on the event type of event and the venue, lots of things can happen that can throw you off course, and it can be really, really difficult sometimes to stay cool and not panic. So probably my top tips, and we'll talk about this a bit later on, is make sure that if you are using a venue, is go there first, try things out, try putting the music on. If you're wanting screens, test the screens, and any of the technical things that you want, test online. And I have to tell you, even when I was recording this, I've spent half an hour testing things, the speakers, everything works. You know, get everything working as much as you can. If you are speaking, either online or on a stage, and something technical goes, just don't panic. You know, have a backup plan. Ideally, someone in the background that can help. It can either switch something on, switch something off, and just keep talking. And be honest. If you're having a technical glitch, it happens to all of us. Just be honest, own it, and just say, I'm really sorry, we're having a technical glitch. We'll be back to you shortly. Nobody minds. If you are talking and you're expecting people to interact with you more, or there's just an awkward silence and nobody knows what to do, you know, use some humour, make a joke or ask a question. And perhaps if you know people in the audience, you could ask something that's relatable to obviously the topic you're talking about, but something you know that they would be able to answer, and also they wouldn't be horrified if you pick them out of the audience. So just be like, think on your feet a bit, and use the people you have around you, because a lot of people will be there just to support you. You know, use them. If you've got a tough audience, and I've had it where I've been speaking and I'm thinking, I don't know how to read this audience. I can't tell if they're enjoying what I'm saying or they've just zoned out. And what I've done is I've just stayed calm and I've acknowledged. And then I've also gone back to the kind of awkward silence bit where I've asked somebody a question or tried to make it a bit more interactive. And actually what I've found is the toughest of audiences are more likely the ones that come up at the end and say, oh my gosh, I was absolutely enchanted with what you were saying. And I just was so interested in what you were saying, and then ask me loads of questions afterwards. So just remember, just because an audience isn't saying anything to you there and then, it doesn't mean they're not listening. And actually more likely than not, they're just taking it all in, and perhaps don't feel brave enough to ask a question, as you know, with everyone else listening. And I think this is a good one. No one remembers perfection. No event is going to go off flawlessly. And to be honest, when people come to your events, they don't know what you've got planned and what's gone right and what's gone wrong anyway. So it doesn't really matter, but they will remember how you made them feel. So again, going back to that, being a host and welcoming people and making sure that everyone feels comfortable, everyone knows where everything is. It really does go a long way. And a lot of the feedback I get when I have events is exactly that, is they just felt welcome from the moment they stepped in. You know, making that extra effort to introduce people, learn people's names, and don't be afraid of giving people name badges. I do it all the time, especially if I'm hosting and I don't know everyone that's come in, which often happens. You know, if you've got 10, 15 people or more come in, do name badges. There's nothing wrong with that, and people will thank you for it as well. So the ultimate hosting checklist, this is really, really good thing to know. So this is important if you're hosting or if you're getting someone else to do that part of the job for you. So before the event, know your audience and your event goal. Why are you doing this event and who is likely to be there? So you can then match the audience with what you've got available. Depending on what kind of people are coming and what your event is, you can make sure the right things are there. Plan your flow, get your timings and your key moments and your transitions. So if your event's for an hour or 2 hours or 8 hours, plan what's supposed to happen at each individual time so that you can be on top of things and things can be ready. It will also help with the flow of the event and make sure that you fit in everything that you want to fit in. Have a backup plan. There's nothing wrong with that. If this happens, I'll do this. And honestly, I've used my backup plans more times than I'd care to admit. And get familiar with the venue and any key people that are there to support you on the day. This is a really key one. Depending on the type of venue you have, if you're hiring, say, a church hall or a community centre or something, they may just give you the keys and let you get on with it, which is fine. So make sure you go there before the event and learn how everything works. Learn how the audio visual equipment works. Learn how to put the music on, the heaters on, the lights on. If you're offering refreshments, which I hope you are, make sure you know how to do all that. Make sure you know how to switch the kettle on. Where's the tea and the coffee? What do you need to bring with you? If you're hosting in a place that has people on staff, so maybe a hotel or something like that, work out who's going to be your key person on the day. So if you've got any questions or issues or anything, you know where to find them and who the person is that's going to help you, because they will be key. So if anything goes wrong with the audiovisual equipment, you can say you know exactly who to go to. And make sure that when you arrive on the day, you make yourself known to them and they make themselves known to you. During the event, greet your guests warmly and set the tone. This is probably the number one thing of any event, whether it's online, in person, whether it's a business, personal, it doesn't matter. This is the most important thing. Greet your guests warmly and set the tone. Make sure you're smiling. Make sure they know where to go. Make sure they know all the key information you need them to know. If they're speakers, let them know what the times are. If there's different rooms they might need to go in, let them know where everything is. Let them know where the tea and coffee is. Let them know where the toilets are, where to get food, whatever it is. This is the key thing. It's always those first impressions. And I cannot kind of put that on enough. This is the most important thing. Keep your energy high. With your voice and body language, make yourself available to everybody. You are the host, so people are going to want to speak to you. They're going to want to give you feedback. They're going to want to ask you questions. They're going to have ideas for you. They're going to ask you more information. They're going to be, most of the time, people are really interested in what you've put on, so they want more information. So make sure your energy is kept high and you're on it. It's going to be an exhausting time for you, but enjoy it and stay present and handle hiccups with confidence. But really be present. It's your event and be there. The other thing I would say as well is, as the host, is make it very clear who you are. Wear something, and wear something that makes you really identifiable. So maybe a particular colour or a dress, and if it's a business, maybe you wear something that's more in brand colours. But do something or wear something that people go, oh, it's the lady or the gentleman in the whatever dress, or they're holding this, or they've got this badge on, or whatever it is that you find, but something that really makes you stand out from everybody else. So if anyone's looking for the host or whose event it is, it's very, very clear who you are, just in case, because as you do bigger events, people will want to speak to you more, but you may not be quite so in the middle of it. After the event, it's same as greeting people, if you can, and obviously it's a lot easier online because you can do it as a whole, but if you've got an in-person event, if you can, thank your guests as they leave. So make it very clear when it's time to go. Start packing up and saying to people, okay, we're shutting 10 minutes or whatever. But be at the door to say thank you, to let people go. And especially if one of your objectives is to promote or sell a product or service, it gives you an opportunity, a last chance again, to sell that product or service or network, whatever it is. So make sure you're at the door to say thank you for coming. I hope you've enjoyed. If you've got any feedback, let us know. And you may want to give out a freebie or something like a flyer or something, or check if you've got their email address. But again, thanking them, make sure they've got everything, make sure you've hit your objectives and you've given them everything you want to give them before you say goodbye. And reflect what worked. You'll sit back after your event, whether it's been an hour, 2 hours, 10 hours, whatever, and you'll be exhausted. And that's when you need to think that, okay, today was great. What worked? What didn't work? What do I need to change? And really kind of go through it in detail and write it down, because I guarantee if you think I'm too exhausted now, I'll do it tomorrow, you will never do it tomorrow. Trust me. So write it down. Really, really take the points, there. People will say things to you throughout your event as well, and they'll give you constructive feedback. They might mention something, you think, I should have done that. So really, while it's fresh on your mind, write it down. So your hosting superpower is you. And I don't think that's any surprise in me saying this. It is you. You are the person. And again, I can't reiterate this enough. If you cannot be that person and you're not, which is absolutely fine, find the person that can host on your behalf. Just make sure they understand your goals and your objectives so they can do that for you. So your hosting superpower is you. So own it and enjoy it. That's all I can say is really own it and enjoy it. Practice makes it natural. If you need to, go somewhere, practice with your friends and family. If it's not something that comes natural to you, practice with other people. And keep trying. Don't have one event and think, oh, it's really hard and I don't know what to do. Try again. Just mix and match it a bit. Make it a bit easier for yourself. Perhaps make it smaller. Do it in a different venue, or do it online. There's lots of different ways around it. And be prepared. There is no such thing as perfection ever, but be prepared. Plan your day, know what you're expecting, have everything in place, know what you're doing, but be prepared. Hosting isn't about being perfect, but it is about being prepared and it is about being present. The more you practice, the more natural it feels, and it's all about your energy. Own it and enjoy it. It's your event, it's your baby. You've put all this effort into it, you should enjoy it. So I hope today has been useful and this masterclass has been useful. But what's one thing you'll take away and apply to your next event or your first event, whichever it is. So keep the momentum going. Keep going. If you've got an event idea in your head, just go for it. Whether it's your first event or your 15th event, whatever it is, just keep going. I have, as I said right at the beginning, I've hosted and created many events. So I've written an ebook that can help you. It's jam-packed with so much information. It's all the things that the processes I go through before, during and after an event to make sure that they really work. And events are such a great way to raise your profile, whether that's business or personal. It's a really good thing to do. It's over on my website. The link is on here. But yeah, give it a go. And I hope you've enjoyed the masterclass and I will see you soon. Bye.